Denial is one of the most powerful forces in the cycle of addiction. It isn't merely a refusal to admit a problem exists, it's a complete distortion of perception and a rewiring of how the brain interprets reality. In the previous post, we explored how denial allows the addicted mind to override the individual's values, ethics, and sense of connection. Most people who struggle with substance use know, on some level, that lying, stealing, or breaking trust harms the people they love. Yet they continue to do it. Why? Because denial reshapes what makes sense in the moment, convincing the brain that survival depends on continued use. Here's a trick question. How do you know you're in denial? The answer, of course, is you don't. That's the defining feature of denial. It's invisible to the person experiencing it. The people around you often see the damage long before you do. Family members shake their heads in disbelief, wondering how someone so intelligent, caring, and once dependable could now seem incapable of seeing what's obvious. They don't understand that denial is not a conscious choice. It's a built-in defense mechanism that has hijacked the brain. The human brain has several basic functions: seeking pleasure, avoiding pain, regulating the system, and solving problems. These functions work beautifully in healthy circumstances. Touch a hot stove, and you learn quickly to pull away. Achieving a goal triggers a small dose of dopamine as a reward. The problem is that the addictive substance and behaviors hijack this reward system. The brain begins to associate the substance, alcohol, opioids, gambling, food, sex, or even social media, with the promise of relief and control. Pain avoidance and pleasure seeking become fused into a single command: do whatever it takes to get the next hit. When the addicted brain senses a threat to that supply, whether it's a family confrontation, a court order, or an internal pang of guilt, it activates denial as a form of protection. I can stop anytime. Everyone drinks. You're overreacting. These aren't simply excuses. They're neurological reflexes designed to keep the system from feeling threatened. In this way, denial becomes both a shield and a trap. It shields the mind from pain, but traps the person in the very cycle that creates more pain. Once denial sets in, perception itself changes. The addicted brain focuses on what's wrong rather than what's right, on who's to blame rather than what can be fixed. Everyday frustrations, a partner's comment, a work setback, a missed call, are filtered through the distorted lens that magnifies the negative and minimizes the positive. The world begins to feel hostile and unfair, which justifies the next use. If you lived my life, you drink too, the mind insists. This cognitive distortion is so convincing that the person truly believes it. To outsiders, this can look like manipulation or selfishness, but inside the addicted brain, it feels like survival. The person is not choosing to see the world incorrectly. The brain's reward and stress systems have rewired themselves to misread information. Fear and shame become louder than reason. Every argument, every plea from loved ones, every consequence feels like an attack, and the denial rushes to defend. Family members often find themselves trapped in their own cycle of denial. They tell themselves it's just a phase. He's under a lot of stress, or she's not that bad. They want to believe the person they love is still in control. When the truth becomes too painful, they distort reality to cope. This mutual denial, the addict denying the problem and the family denying the severity, creates a powerful fog that keeps everyone stuck. The frustration for families is understandable. They remember who their loved one used to be: kind, intelligent, generous. They can't reconcile that image with the person in front of them. But understanding denial as a neurological and emotional defense mechanism, not just a moral failing, is crucial. It helps shift the response from anger to compassion and from confrontation to support. If you can't see your own denial, how does recovery begin? The first step is awareness through reflection and feedback. Recovery often starts when the consequences finally outweigh the defenses, when jobs are lost, relationships end, or health collapses. But even then, insight doesn't happen automatically. It usually takes consistent feedback from counselors, peers in recovery, or supportive family members to challenge the false narratives the brain has built. In treatment, counselors help clients examine their thinking patterns with curiosity rather than shame. Instead of arguing with the addicted brain, "You're wrong," therapy invites exploration. Could there be another way to see this? Group settings reinforce this process by providing living proof that recovery is possible and that others have wrestled with the same blind spots. Slowly, the brain begins to recalibrate its understanding of reward and safety. Breaking denial isn't about humiliation or forced admission. It's about retraining the brain to value truth over comfort. This takes time. The same neural pathways that once screamed for relief at any cost, with consistent recovery work, begin to respond to healthy rewards like connection, accomplishment, and peace. When this happens, the fog of denial lifts. Clarity returns not in a single epiphany, but through many small moments of honesty and humility. Denial may be the most cunning part of addiction, but it is not unbeatable. Awareness, connection, and compassion, both from within and from others, are the antidotes. The same brain that once distorted reality can learn to see clearly again. And when that happens, recovery is not just possible, it becomes the most natural thing in the world.